I think
Did you
I
mute your
muted my
mic?
mic, right?
No
Okay, no
sound, no
sound.
audio.
Right. All right,
What we're
guys,
gonna
we're
do
gonna
is
do the
rewind.
introductions again. What's up, guys? It's your boy Echo Limits. I'm the host for Let's Talk Battlefield. This is episode 14. Sorry about that. We got the audio all figured out. So with me today, I have Izzy. Do your intro again, buddy.
How's it going, everybody? My name's Izzy. Welcome to the podcast. If you want to check out my YouTube channel, it's youtube.com/IzzyGoneCrazy.
Awesome. And also with me, I have Mambo B.
Mambo B checking in. Great place to hang out for games, laughs, and memories is with Mambo on twitch.tv.
Awesome. And lastly, but always, Flakfire.
Hey everyone, it's Flakfire. It's youtube.com/FlakfireGaming for all the latest random Battlefield news, speculation, and historical stuff. So,
All right, awesome. And now, like I said, I'm your host, Echo Limits. You can find me at twitch.tv/Echo Limits, streaming Battlefield just about all the time. So, well, for those of you guys joining us for the first time on this podcast, let me see if I can just make sure I move this over. Why is this bizarrely shaped? We're having some technical difficulties. You guys want to go for a take two here? Do you guys see this? I don't know why
Yeah, I
this
see it.
is weird like that. Twitch chat main. Let me see. Let me see if we can figure this out, guys.
Fine.
This is live, but we're fixing it.
Yeah.
Is it on a filter, maybe? No.
Taking
It's
notes for
probably
fixes.
going to be this.
I wonder if it's leftover from the guest one you were
Yeah,
trying
I
to do
think
before.
that's what it is. So that I have to have two separate ones. 660. It's probably too much. Let me just change it over to, because we're working on another layout, and it's something I haven't gone in and talked about yet on stream, but I think this will work. All right.
Is that a shower curtain? That is not a shower curtain. That is a sheet.
Someone said professional streamer. Thumbs up. All right, guys. All right, we did the intro. We'll just leave it at that. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. I'm just gonna give you guys a quick rundown of how the podcast works. First of all, we all chose a new topic to discuss with you guys live. This is recorded live, so excuse us when we have things that don't work out. So today's topics, the rundown is this. Izzy is going to be up first with what would you like to see out of the Battlefield TV show. So if you forgot, there was an announcement about a Battlefield TV show. We're going to discuss it here next. Then we'll have Mambo with what detail of the new upcoming map are you most excited for. So this will be for Priest to Tahure. It's coming out this month. Do we even know when? Fellas?
I'm hoping Tuesday.
Don't know.
Soon, TM.
Soon.
2 Tuesdays left.
Right, they only got a couple more chances to drop this map on us, so we'll be playing that before the next podcast episode for sure. The next topic was chosen by me. It's what kind of social space should DICE add to Battlefield 1? I really think that's an interesting topic. And we got Flakfire with the last topic of the podcast, breaking up DLC, 4 maps now, 2 later. And the question is, how would you restructure DLC for future BF games? So the conversations are awesome. They're going to be really interesting. And as always, there is a live audience. You can see their chat. We kind of just fixed it. If you're watching the, I guess the YouTube version or the iTunes version where it's the video cast, then you can see the live commentary from everybody who joins in. You can join us live over at my channel. With that being said, if you're watching the recording, the way to get interactive with it is to email us. Email us at the Let's Talk Podcast at gmail.com. We've gotten 2 emails, which we'll get to at the end of the podcast show. And yeah, we can go straight into it. So, first topic, Izzy, what would you like to see out of the Battlefield TV show? Take it away, my man.
All right. Battlefield TV show. I think it was announced about a year ago was when it was officially announced. There have been rumors about it for a long time, but about a year ago was the first official announcement we've gotten. Now, since then, they've been dark. We don't have too much information about it. We just know that they're going to make a Battlefield TV show. And that's about it. Which, there's a lot of possibilities there. But personally, I would love to see a World War I or World War II era TV show. Maybe something like Band of Brothers or The Pacific. I think it could be awesome. I think it could be a really good piece of TV. Not to mention, it could build so much hype around the game and for the release of the next game as well, right? Because a TV show is going to bring in people who aren't gamers too, who might then go and check out the video game. And I think it has so much potential to be amazing. Let's face it, EA has a ton of money. They can produce something that's really, really awesome if they do it right. I'm hoping they're going to partner with maybe, I don't know, Netflix or HBO to produce the show. That could be cool too. There's so many possibilities, so just wanted to have the discussion as to what we would like to see out of a Battlefield TV series.
That's one of the things that strikes me is that the fact that they've been so silent, that means there really truly are like so many possibilities what they can do. And I don't know, when you posed that question, it got me thinking about, what DICE has done with their storytelling. And I liked the war stories. I just thought they were a little bit too fast, but they were definitely good stories told and had good potential. They just didn't have enough time to stretch them out, so I think they should have been like 3-hour, 2-hour kind of stories with like, I don't know, a little bit more depth to the characters, because I felt like 45 minutes, I think you could play through most of them, and it was just a bit short. How do you guys feel about the 45-minute ones, just in the single player?
I agree. I think they were too short. They were really fun, but I'm sure they cost just a ton of money to make those campaigns in dev time, and I'm sure they wanted to focus on multiplayer, which is a shame because the war stories were really fun. In fact, I was hoping we would get more war stories as DLC, but sadly, none.
Same here. So, like, I don't know. I mean, I thought about that, and I thought maybe Battlefield could do something different. What would you guys think about like an episodic kind of a series where each season was a different war story, rather than just one whole thing?
I'd be cool with that. I mean, it'd be a new take on it. It'd be interesting to see if it worked or not, instead of following one group of characters. But I think that could be cool. Maybe focus a different war on a different war or a different time period or different battle per season or something, just to keep it fresh, so people don't burn out in one era. That might work. Instead of just following like one cast.
I'm gonna say that I've always thought this, but the Battlefield Bad Company series to me is just always kind of like ripe for some kind of episodic type of thing. I think that would be kind of fun. Do like a little heist thing in there, and you got to deal with the characters and their personalities. If they can transfer that to television, that would be pretty neat.
You know what? If I'm
That
not
would be really
mistaken,
cool.
the first time they talked about a TV show was a Battlefield Bad Company TV show.
I think it was.
Yeah,
But
and then
that
they
never
went
ended up happening.
silent, and then they came back saying that they're working on a TV show. Another studio was working for the rights or something, because DICE and EA were trying to get someone on board. Even though DICE has some talented storytellers, you really need to go for a production studio, that they have to be the ones who work out the whole kinks. But I think there was a Bad Company thing being tossed around before anything.
I think there was. I mean, there was just. Was it officially announced? I just remember hearing a bunch of rumors about it. I don't know if it was ever like anything official.
I don't think so. Well, nothing was official. I think it's just, somebody on the inside said, hey, I heard about this, and, shared it to maybe the internet, and then the internet went kind of crazy.
I mean, a Bad Company TV show would be pretty awesome. I would love to see that, especially if the next Battlefield turns out to be Bad Company. Could you imagine if they released the two in tandem? Maybe the campaign followed along with the TV show or something.
So that's interesting. Is like, do you guys think it's too late to do a World War I TV show? Because it's already out, the game?
No.
I don't think so.
This is how I would approach it, guys, is if you're going to approach a TV show, you could put a protagonist that is almost like a Back to the Future kind of thing. Somebody that's in our current time gets put back in the World War I era and says how their weapons, their lifestyles are going to be so affected, and it kind of alters the war a little bit. And then that same protagonist goes to our next Battlefield game and is also in that game as in the movie.
So
you could transfer it.
traveling
Okay, he went from World War
soldier?
One, now he's in like Vietnam War or Korean War. Now he's affecting that war. So it could transfer kind of parallel worlds to the game, to the TV show, something like that.
So
But
basically,
how would they introduce time traveling?
the thing is the thing Mambo's getting at is Battlefield is a game where it's been going through many eras. And for it to make sense to us, to make sense across the broad spectrum of just Battlefield, I think it'd be interesting to have that tie in how it is. You can go jump through World War I, World War II, then Vietnam through some sort of a tie in, like a time travel. But
Right. Like somebody passes away, but they're born again. And they're like, whoa, I've seen this. I've been there. I've done that.
Or like follow one family, like their lineage throughout
that.
like
That'd be
different
cool.
wars.
Well, and honestly, Battlefield's kind of done that, right? I believe the pilot in Battlefield 1 is allegedly related to the one character in Battlefield 3, I think, Blackburn. They both have the same last name, and the developers have said, yeah, they are related. I believe they unofficially said that. I don't know if that's confirmed or not, but you do have that connection there. So pretty cool that they were able to do that. And my opinion on this whole TV thing is, like, I would really like to see it have a tie-in to the next game. If they do something like that, at the same point, I've seen it go like terribly wrong, like with Assassin's Creed and like the Assassin's Creed movie, which was just terrible,
awful.
So as long as it's done right, I don't really care what era it is, what storyline it is, if we do Bad Company or if we do something else, as long as it's decent, and the production values are appropriate, then it'd be great. But I mean, if you don't tie it into a game, I feel like that's a real missed opportunity.
Yeah, if they tied it into a game, I think it could help the next game be even bigger than the Battlefield 1 was, because it'll just build so much hype. Maybe have the first season or something end on a big cliffhanger, and the campaign picks up where the cliffhanger left off or something, or it fills in from the other side of the story. Cool. I mean, I think it could help the game a lot.
Aren't they doing that with Star Wars too? They're kind of showing the protagonist, the other side, the dark side story. So they're kind of making.
that is the coolest part about that one. I mean,
they're just showing a different perspective. I don't think it ties into the movies whatsoever.
But here's the thing. Here's the thing. Like, have you guys seen like Band of Brothers back in the day? Great show, right? I mean, it was really cool. I remember watching it and everything else. There were even games, and I had a game for it. I even played it.
They were bad.
It was alright. It was just, like a Call of Duty knockoff kind of thing, right? But see, the story's been told so many times. If they go with a World War II story, if they go with a World War I story, I mean, that story's been told. And the fact that DICE made that protagonist game, like, oh man, like, they're talking about what if you do like the Emperor, right, in Star Wars, and you don't think the rebels are the right ones. Like, maybe they can tell finally a story from like the German perspective. Can we please get that? That'd be really interesting, because those people, they have a story to be told, and no one focuses on that.
So follow, like, I mean, maybe. I mean, it'd have to be one heck of a good story to win people over.
I just
they
think
could
that
do something. They could do something totally different with a Battlefield TV show. They could make it a reality TV show and put, random streamers together with YouTubers and make a reality TV show. All in one house. They're sharing bandwidth, mad at each other.
I'll tell you this much. I have not been contacted about this, so the prospects of this happening.
Sign me up. Let's go.
Listen, hey, we're speculating here because they really have gone quiet on this. But
hey, I guess it could be a reality show.
It's true. What about if we're going crazy?
Who's the best on and off the battlefield? Find out next.
Listen, Izzy, what if we're going crazy, what if an animated show? No one said it can't be animated.
It could be a cartoon. I mean,
Would you guys be
Frostbite is an
down
amazing
with
engine,
like an animated Battlefield
but I
TV
think
show?
it would be cheaper just to hire actors, to be honest.
Yeah, that takes
I
a lot of
mean,
work.
I think it'd be cheaper just to hire actors.
Because who knows, you know? They might be looking to do that. I mean, chat, are you
What,
guys
like
ready
Battlefield
for a...
Friends, but TV show?
No, not even, because, you know, the graphics aren't... Like, I'm talking about maybe, like, use the 3D graphics. They already made.
It'd be way cheaper to hire actors.
Yeah?
Oh yeah.
See, I don't have a recollection of how much these things would cost.
We're talking dramatically cheaper.
Interesting. I don't know. I mean,
I think there's so many possibilities that it could go any direction, or it might not ever happen because it could just fall through. But I really
do you
hope it
think
doesn't.
it's gonna fall through?
It could. I mean, it's happened before, right?
Right.
So
It could hurt
I
the
don't want them to
franchise.
miss the opportunity because it could
Right.
be so awesome if it's done right.
So
But then
wait,
on the flip side, if they make it and it's awful and it does tie into the next game, that might hurt the next game.
Right.
yeah, I know, Mambo. You just said that like it could hurt the franchise, but you really think that would happen? Like, do
I don't know
people-
if it would hurt the franchise, but I think it would maybe diminish how seriously some people take it. You know, like, you know, they say any kind of PR is good PR, but it's like, you know, if somebody's watching it and they're just like, wow, this is so hokey, you know, it can have a negative impact on, you know, how they view the franchise, right? Because if
Right.
we look at the war stories that we got to play, like especially the prologue, right? Like that was pretty dark. That prologue, when it's
It
like,
was dark.
yeah, you
Yeah.
just like you died and now you pick up at the next person, you know. And if you're playing or watching a really hokey, over the top kind of thing, you know, people might look at it and say, oh, you know, I thought Battlefield was more serious and this is, you know, just kind of laughable, and that's not the reaction that you want to have either.
Right. Well,
But didn't they have some good humor in Battlefield Bad Company too? Wasn't
Yeah,
there
great.
some really good like elbow man shots to each other's chest, you know, verbally?
No, that storyline had a lot of fun with it. You know, they had taken the whole thing and the whole like we're a squad, but we're a squad of people who been basically cast out of the army. Like you guys are the ragtag. We like that's why we're sending you in first. You know.
B Company.
Yeah, it was, you know, literally why they called it Bad Company, right?
It was
that's what
like you're
this-
either here or you're getting court-martialed.
Right. So they all did something. Did we ever get to the bottom of what each of them did to deserve that?
Yeah, I think so.
I do
Or
not
or
remember.
at least the main character, we did.
Yeah, his name was
We learned his-
Preston
we
or something?
found out about,
What was his name?
Preston, right?
yeah, it was Preston.
Was it Preston? Okay.
Yeah.
We knew his
Haggard was
story.
one. Sweetwater.
Sweetwater.
Haggard,
That one I
Sweetwater,
remember.
and
Yeah.
Sarge.
And so,
Sarge,
it was
right.
it was the best cast of any Battlefield game to date, by far, for a
Do
campaign.
you think a TV
Most
show would
memorable
actually
campaign?
a TV show may actually hurt the storytelling of their next game though? They need to use their creative genius to create a good story for a campaign. So maybe they don't have enough creative juices to create another good campaign if they use it in a TV show.
I think it'll be different. It won't be the DICE team making the TV show. It will be someone else. It will be a studio with its own writers and its own producers
Yeah.
and its own directors.
Right. I'm pretty sure, you know, the actual game development people are not going to be involved.
The higher ups
aside-
at DICE and maybe EA would have like creative oversight, but they wouldn't be running the show.
That would be the proper way to do it. Now, you know, we have no idea. We're just speculating. And I think we are ready to move on to the next topic. You guys have any closing thoughts on what do you think the Battlefield TV show is, or we're ready for the next part?
I want it DICE. Please just don't make it suck. Please.
Yeah, you know what?
Please.
I agree. I want it to.
I don't
Can
care
we
what
go
it
on
is,
record?
just
Do
make
you
it
want
good.
it? Mambo Flak, you also on board? We want a show? I would watch.
Yeah, I would watch it. I'd really like to see it if they were smart and that's one thing. I'll throw this in here at the end, but like a lot of the stuff that has tie-ins to video games, like they always do, straight to DVD or whatever, and it's like you never get a chance to watch them unless like you go to the store and like one of those rare video rental stores,
Wait,
that
what?
don't really
What's
exist
that?
anymore. Right, and so like that's the only
Fire
opportunity
stick.
you really get to watch it. Like I would love to see it on some kind of service like Netflix or Hulu or something like that. Where
Yeah.
if I was them, I whatever they wind up doing, just make it readily accessible so we all can watch it. Like you shouldn't be making something like that because you're like, oh, we're gonna make a profit on this. Like those things, they really don't. Like you might break even. I would assume you're not gonna make tons of money on it. So. I think its value is in promotion and expanding the franchise to other audiences maybe they wouldn't necessarily reach in video games. So whatever they wind up doing, I want to be able to watch it easily.
All right, agreed. So let's move on to Mambo. Mambo, take away. Next topic is what detail of the new upcoming map are you most excited for?
Right. The reason I bring that up is because you guys know I probably played my fair share of Battlefield 1 and anxiously awaiting, like a lot of us, the next map to be released for Battlefield 1. And the last map that came out, the night map, was very well, I thought, put together. It's one of my favorite maps so far for infantry gameplay. And Nivelle Knights has been phenomenal for infantry gameplay. So I'm wondering how good will the infantry gameplay be for Nivelle Knights. It's almost like, how can they outdo Nivelle Knights with another night map if it's that good? Is the night map going to be linked to Nivelle Knights in a operations? There's a lot of details we don't know. They showed it in CTE for maybe a week or two, and then they took it off. So what do you guys think? I personally am looking for, that squad play, but I'm worried about campers. I'm worried about camping in buildings and stuff, but what do you guys got?
It's gonna be
Having played Priesthood Tour on the CTE, you will have to watch out for campers a little bit, but at the same point, like you have to realize it's part of the map. Like there's lots of ruins everywhere, there's dark corners, there's all this other stuff. It kind of lends itself to that. At the same point, there's nothing stopping you from doing that. So that's the kind of stuff you're gonna run into. It's set up really interestingly. It's a circular map. So at the very center, you've got Tahure Square, and it's very difficult to get a tank up there. So that's where all the infantry action kind of happens, and that's like real enclosed in the houses, room to room, house to house kind of stuff. And it's very much infantry oriented. You get a lot of verticality in there too. And around the outside of the map, that's where you get some of the vehicular combat. You only get one tank per side. In Conquest, so it's an interesting map. We don't really have anything like that currently in Battlefield 1 that I'm aware of. In previous games like Battlefield 4, you had games where it's like, okay, tanks can kind of be out here, but they can't get to this inner area in
so
some
are
maps. Or they had,
part of the map? Because I have not touched it at all.
Yes.
You played it, right?
Izzy, have you played it?
Yeah.
You have played it.
And Mambo, you played it?
No, I've watched some of the gameplay of it, but I haven't played it.
I haven't played it myself. So
I didn't see any vehicles. Any cavalry?
No cavalry, but you get two little scout cars, I believe. I got run over the other day.
So it's going to be kind of like a Grand Bazaar of Battlefield 1. It's got a center area where no tanks and stuff can go into.
Yeah, kind of. There's some similarity there. There's some similarities to Sand Crossing, too. Having spoken to a couple people, they kind of view it as like that's the kind of gameplay that you're going to get out of Priesthood Tour. And
Sand Crossing had that
myself,
same thing. Yeah.
I thought it was a lot of fun. One thing that I really like, and I can't overstate this enough, that the map is circular. So it's like there's one main road that runs in a circle around the square. And literally, like, if you want to get from one side of the map to the other, you can do that really, really quick. You can back cap real quickly. At the same point, like, if you're an assault player, I was having so much fun the other day. I was just, like, throwing dynamite out in the middle of that road and just, I
It
could hear the
played
tank coming.
kind of
so
like
you
Grand
just
Bazaar.
wait. Yeah.
In the way it played out. It's kind of like Grand Bazaar, where you had tons of people on the outside, and then they would quickly rush into the middle, die, and then respawn their buddies and rush back into the middle again.
Mhm.
That's kind of what it felt like, at least to me. I liked it. I thought it
Yeah,
was
because
fun.
you have to take into consideration a lot of the people that are in the podcast right now, or you're listening to the podcast, you may not have played this map. So for me to say, hey, what are you looking forward to most in the new map? Maybe you're just looking forward to learning a new map, not necessarily.
True.
You know what? That's one of the reasons I have access to CTE, and I watch YouTubers. Flak, I of course watch your channel. I don't think you haven't put gameplay of that yet, even though you played it. I kind of stay away from the stuff that we're gonna get because I don't want to spoil myself, and I do the same thing when a map just drops. I look forward to I want to get in this map. I want to look around what did they just put in there, because DICE knocks it out the park more than most companies that develop map packs for their things. It's not. Sometimes they'll put a map pack from their single player, and you're just like, I see what you did there. I still think Giant Shadow is their worst one for this game, particularly. But like you said, Novella Knights, I mean, that's not anywhere to be found in the single player, and it's just from the ground up designed trench warfare and the attention to detail. We were talking last time, remember, Flag? With the fire on one side and electrical on the other. I mean, if I hadn't had that explained to me by you guys, the YouTubers, I wouldn't even have watched and looked at those details. But there's so much detail to be had, and I can't wait to kind of look around what this, I guess, night ambiance kind of a map is going to be. I know the layout's different than ambiance or ambiance. I don't know how to say it.
That's a good map to compare it to,
Yeah,
though,
because
like
it's the house
in how
fighting.
it plays. Yeah, so you get a lot of that in there. But I mean, it's a fun map. It's real easy for a team that's kind of losing to, escape and get to the other side of the map and back cap, and there's a lot of fun like ambush points in that map that
So it's just
that you can
conquest.
work with.
Correct? It's just conquest right now, CTE?
My understanding is there will be front lines too. I would assume that's what they're doing.
Was they going to
because they
talk
put
at one time of
Conquest on
putting
Novell Knights.
Was there a talk of an operations connecting to Novell Knights with that?
I had speculated that was a thing because every time they put it out there, they say "own the night," and it was like proper noun. So I was like, oh, maybe that's an operation. I don't know, but there's no confirmation on that.
That would be nice.
Yeah, that's interesting. What game modes do you think they're gonna bring? I hope that they bring Frontlines. I've been really loving Frontlines, by the way. They probably
I think Frontlines has done really well for Battlefield as a game mode. I think a lot of people really, really like it, and it's probably like the second most played game mode. If I was guessing, I mean, like behind Conquest, I would say a lot of people, especially now that they've put Conquest or
well, they did
Frontlines
break
on.
operations, so.
But they brought Frontlines to a couple of the vanilla maps, and I think the people with the base game have been really enjoying the kind of varied experience that brings. So I would say, they brought Frontlines with Novell Knights. I would expect them to bring it with Priesthood Tour as well.
Right.
And probably every DLC from here on out will have a Frontlines in it.
Right. Well, if you're just tuning in, guys, we're talking about the upcoming next night map. Some people are questioning what map we're talking about. We're talking about the Priesthood Tahure, the other night map that's coming out either this coming Tuesday or the following Tuesday. That's the last 2 Tuesdays in the month of July. And then, of course, you guys know we got future maps coming out with the Russian DLC in August.
I think that they're getting confused because, if I'm not mistaken, DICE just put into CTE the Lebkov pass, right? And that's what they're probably wondering if that's what we're talking about. But we actually got a whole new map coming out for all of us to play. Specifically, if you have the French DLC purchased or you're a premium player, then you have that map coming out because it's part of the French DLC. It'll be a discussion we will have at the end, Flag's topic, with this whole new thing that DICE is doing. But I really think that, you know, the whole night themed, I would love to see an operation. I think I saw Joe Mike comment in the chat saying that the devs came on and said basically no operation for this one, right? If I'm not mistaken, they kind of said this would not be an operation. The two maps, the two night maps.
I mean, technically, they don't fit together from a chronological and area
Yeah,
perspective.
because there's a story that goes with it, and this time there isn't one, right?
Right.
That kind of blows. Because I mean, I would be willing to look past a little bit of story to get a night map. What about you guys?
A night operation?
Yeah,
I'd be okay with that.
Yeah.
I'd be
I
down
would.
for that.
I was brainstorming earlier with the stream that most wars end up countryside battles, then it progresses to city, right? What if they did it the other way around? What if it ended up as a city going out to the country fight?
Oh,
They kind of do that in the one of the operations that's got the countryside and then it goes over to the coast, where the Monte Grappa. They kind of do that a
yeah,
little
but
bit.
that's in the middle, because you
Right.
got the Foul Fortress first, then you have Suez, and then you have the next one. Yeah, but I see what you mean. As a design perspective, Dice has not made a let's fight in the city and now let's finish it in the countryside. It's always been the other way around.
Right, because that's the way most wars are fought. They fight
even
in the
looked at
country, get the logistics, get the armor, get the forces in, and then approach the cities. That's usually how they do it. But yeah, if you think of wars. But okay, yeah. So
All right, guys. A few final thoughts before we move on to our third topic for the podcast about the night map coming up. I just hope it comes out soon. Like you said,
Yeah,
there's only two Tuesdays. Let's go. you know?
Soon.
right.
Are you sure they didn't say July 2018?
I know. No,
It'll be a
listen, man.
riot if that happens.
That would be a riot. You know what? I know it's hard to predict these things because, you know, they want to go simultaneous with Xbox, with Sony, and you got to get approval. You got to get checked so there's no backdoor weird stuff going on so they can hack the consoles. It isn't like easy, but it's just kind of funny that they can't come up with dates.
Yeah.
Weirdo. Awesome. Let's move on to the next section. This next topic is by me. And I keep thinking about this because every time I live stream, people always ask me, are you getting COD World War II? Are you getting COD World War II? And I'm like, there are two things that interest me about COD World War II. Number one, there's a game mode finally with a bigger player base. There's a 40-man game mode. And I'm like, okay, that's more of what I would enjoy, right?
Also zombies.
I hate
Zombies.
I mean, you know what? I'm not opposed to zombies, but I don't play
It's
it.
40 zombies.
No, I don't know what it is.
Dude,
They're
zombies is
calling
like
it
the only
war.
good part of Call of Duty right now.
Yeah, but
I
played
just think that's
zombies and I don't
incredibly
like it.
sad if zombies is the only good thing
The
about
only
Call of
good
Duty.
thing.
Yeah, but I've played
That
zombies.
bums me out.
I played zombies and I don't see what the draw is.
It's fun. I don't know. I think it's fun.
I don't know. But I'm not opposed to let's get zombies in like Battlefield because it might be something fun for someone else to enjoy and maybe I'll pop in there here and there just for fun. You never know. Maybe it could be done well. But the second thing that really got me excited and the reason I ask you guys this question is that they announced the social space. One of the best things I liked about Destiny was the social space of the tower. And I really think that Battlefield's missing that little aspect. I play a bunch of Battlefield, but sometimes I'm a little tired. But there's still people who want to hang out with, like, yo guys, why can't we go to a server where it's just chill? You know, no one's shooting each other. You got some other fun stuff to do. So it got me thinking, guys, if DICE makes a social space, gentlemen, what do we want to see in that?
I think if
Pictures on the
Dice is
wall.
gonna if Dice is gonna make a social space, like they gotta have something to show off there.
Yeah.
Like that's part of,
Cosmetic
like,
stuff.
yeah. If
I wanna
if
show
you
up on
look
mustache.
At what Michael Condrey posted about Call of Duty, he said the social space is really like a peacocking space is the word he used, where it's just like show off all your stuff. And as it stands right now with Battlefield, it's like, well, if we we have a social space, it's just all of us standing around looking exactly the same, with nothing really to differentiate or to show off, or at that point, having a social space doesn't really serve a purpose. So, if Battlefield is going to institute a social space, what would it look like? Right now, I look at them like it would just be a lot of work for what to show off, like weapon skins, if you were able to do that. And at that point, there's not really a whole lot to do with it there.
But okay, so if the focus is not on customization, can't we do things in a social environment? Can we like do something like I came up with and this idea a long time ago. We kind of threw it out there in a podcast previously, but I really want to dive into it. Is we can have literally mini games. Why can't we all get into a server and be like, hey, this is where you sign up for, like, you're in the server, and now you're like, okay, you press yes or no, like go up to like a sign and you sign up to a Calibri only match. And we have a tournament of Calibri only, you know? Like, and this will be silly, but it could be the kind of silly that you might be in for after like 4 or 5 operations.
So like a Minecraft server kind of thing?
I don't know what those are like because I don't play Minecraft. So you want to tell people about it?
Never mind. I mean, that's kind of what it is. There's a big social space, and you walk around and pick what you want to play inside of there with everyone else hanging out.
Right. Yeah.
I was going to say, I like what Johnny McLovin is saying in the chat, where he's talking about social space, firing range, skins, vehicle, character customizations, etc. That does bring me back to Battlefield Hardline. And if you guys remember in Battlefield Hardline, if you had the like the DLCs, there was a firing range associated with that, like gun bench, right? Like that was pretty cool.
But imagine if you can get all your friends at that gun bench.
You to like, yeah, or you can like share loadouts through the gun bench, or showcase your weapons or whatever. Like that would be pretty cool. I really liked that space, and I remember playing it and going, why can't I have friends in this room with me? Like you just felt like very lonely when you were on the range and at the gun bench. And it's like, I want to be able to share a lot of this stuff. And it was one of those things that just blew my mind. If we're talking about social spaces, like we can go back to Fallout 4, where it's like you can build these amazing things and you have no way to share it with anybody.
Right.
Like you can't say, hey, come here, check out my stuff. It's just for your own entertainment, and like unless you're able to capture things and upload them to YouTube, nobody else is going to see it, and that kind of negated the whole point of doing it.
Right.
So
I got one
as long as whatever social space they do has a purpose, please.
Right.
It be a social space.
I agree with the whole customization, and maybe even go down the lines of like you can share or trade skins with each other and all that cool stuff. But I got one that's going to get Mambo excited, because Mambo doesn't seem excited about this talk right now. Mambo, horse racing.
Well, we've been talking in the last few podcasts about
jousting?
obstacle courses and bragging, like you talk about mini games and bragging to other people, like the little Peacock show, like they do in GTA. You show people your garage, or how about your platoon? And each faction has a fort, and in the fort walls are different platoons with their pictures on the wall of the week that they've played. Like, oh, that's our platoon on this wall in the west wing of Fort DeVoe. And then this week we're over in the German fort. And this week we're over in the Russian fort. And each fort, whatever faction you played in that day, it shows off, some of the platoons that have been playing. And then each fort has its own custom shooting range, obstacle course, platoon section, stuff like that. A gun bench, like you say, you could trade gun skins. I know that's kind of a division kind of thing, trading skins for another skin or crafting or whatnot. But yeah, social space would be really cool. I do like that.
Dude, you just kind of threw something in there, and I think that needs to be discussed. Crafting. What if Battlefield had a crafting system?
They kind of already do with the puzzle pieces.
With the melee weapons.
Yeah.
Oh my god, if I could trade melee weapon puzzle pieces, you know how happy I would be? You know how many times I get like the bludgeon? Oh,
I have like
scrapped
100 bludgeon pieces.
5,000 scraps for one puzzle piece this week. Yeah.
But to
Mike's
take
out.
it
Excited
in
I
like
took out Mike.
slightly different direction, I think it'd be cool if they had tiered social spaces too. So like every 50 ranks, you unlock a new social space up until the
Ooh.
max.
Ooh,
So they
that's
have
nice.
like
An extra
the
wing
elite
opens up.
social space for like the max level players only or something. That'd be cool
That
too.
is so cool. I can't believe they did that. I
So
mean,
you
I
could
don't play
work
Destiny.
towards like the top social space, in which each one gets a little bit nicer.
So if you're level 50 at like assault, you got your level 50 assault space. Like there could be a social space,
Yeah.
and then you can go hang out in that one, and you could just hang out with
You
your
get to-
dudes who are level 50s. You're a level 50 sniper, you can go talk to your level 50 sniper friends and did you know about that camp spot on that mountain? And you guys can all pitch a tent and you can all hang out there. You know, it's like
Yeah, the MPs stop the low ranks at the door. Sorry, this is for colonels only. You can't get in.
listen, there'll be one like for the tank dudes and they'll
There's
don't
like
get me
2 of them.
started. Like no, please, you know how many level 50 tank dudes there must be?
You know, well, see, the thing is with that, they'd never talk to each other. They would just be on the very
Yeah.
edges of the social
Yeah.
space. They would never get close enough to actually interact. They'll just camp on
Right,
the
they're
back of
usually
the
sitting in the
social
back of the map anyways, so they're used to that.
Right.
Yep.
I'll tell you where the only 2 people would be is the level 50 cavalry dudes, because that's not easy to get level 50 on.
I'm almost there.
You're almost there, I know. But I just think this whole idea, that's one of the things, this is something that's missing in Battlefield. It could be so cool to do all these things together. And when we were discussing before we got live, we kind of just bounced some ideas. And I thought about like, the discussion was between all of us actually, was like, what if this social space doesn't have to be just like a set dice space? If you have a platoon, you buy a server, you don't have to run Conquest on it, Frontlines on it. Maybe you run your own social space. And then you can post up all your awards as a platoon, you know? Like, wow, we just ranked top 5 in, I don't know, maybe Frontlines as a platoon. And then that's a cool trophy we own, nobody else does. Come check it out in our social space.
That's true.
You rent a server, you can do cool stuff with it. And maybe
Or
Sounds like
something that
Minecraft.
travels with the social space. Like we took the golden dagger this month. Oh, this platoon took it from our space, you know, something like that.
oh snap, that means you gotta guard
Seems a
your
little
social
cringy,
space
but-
from thieves.
Well, not maybe thieves, but you get challenges through the social space. Like we want to challenge you for the golden dagger or whatever, you know, that you got to hang it in your social space.
And then platoons will have to be like, answer the challenge or you lose that golden dagger or something.
If they don't answer within 3 challenges or something, yeah, like
Yo,
you
that's
lost the Stanley
cool.
Cup.
Yo, that's cool. That's
Yeah.
pretty cool. And I know that there's a big community that's oriented in competitiveness in Battlefield. They take platoons seriously. They love playing with their friends and stuff like that. That's kind of the things that DICE should be focused on adding. That would add longevity to the game, and it would add a lot of fun. I mean, I'd be down for that. Like stealing someone's golden dagger, like that's cool.
Yeah, or the sword, the big sword, the golden sword, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything.
That'd be nice.
Make it cool. Make it golden. Make it zebra colors.
Anything.
The sword.
Yeah. Any closing thoughts on that, guys? We have anything else to add?
I think whatever kind of like if they do a social space, it's really got to be heavily anchored into the core game structure.
Right.
Like it's got to be really integrated, because some of the social spaces that you see out there done for games, you're like, why is this here? You know, like this really doesn't serve a purpose. You know, if you look at, for example, PUBG, like PUBG, you can run around and see different outfits people have unlocked or whatever, or that kind of stuff. And like that at least serves a purpose, right? You can kind of show both peacock, that kind of thing. With Destiny, you had different emotes you could do, and find people to party up with and whatever.
Yeah, but for PUBG, that's social space is just meant for people to queue up for the game. It's not meant
Right.
for just people to be in a social space, right?
Right.
You can't
Right.
just go hang out there and be like, when the game starts, like, oh no, guys, I was here just for the social space.
It's true, but it still at least serves a purpose. Like they could put you into just a loading screen or something, and you'd be like, okay, just waiting. But they actually turned it into something where it's like, ooh, I can show off this or I can show off that, and that makes
true.
you want to do better in the game. Like there is a genuine purpose behind doing it. So whatever Battlefield does, it needs to be thoroughly integrated into the structure of the rest of the game. And I keep coming back to customization. I like it. I think if we're going to get some version of Battlefield that doesn't have a premium pass, I think customization is. I'm reading a lot of the chats, like somebody saying customization is childish or stupid, and it's like that's fine. That's an opinion, but it's like I look at it. It's like, well, if you want to have Battlefield without premium fees, you might, that might be the necessary evil you have to deal with. Personally, I like it. But that would be a very core part of having a social space to me, would be customization. So I can show off the various things that I've worked for in the game.
Yeah, I don't think any of us, if you're watching or listening, I don't think any of us are interested in like this over-the-top customizations, like you can see in like,
Titanfall, Call of Duty,
even Rainbow Six is some over-the-top stuff. I think we're more like, I think Battlefield fits the more subtle, era-specific customizations.
Yeah, but the problem with that is no one's ever gonna get excited over subtle era-specific stuff. It's never gonna get people excited. Who wants to be like, I'm gonna grind all day for the slightly greener socks? Yes, like nobody.
I'll show off those socks.
Izzy has a point with that. And I think that has shown in some of the way people have reacted to the battle packs and the skins.
Yeah,
is that there aren't really that many that you're like, I need that.
Dark camo.
There are a couple skins where you're like, oh, that's really cool. Like the French skins for the French weapons, the high level skins for those. Those are really nice, but those are the only ones in the game that I'm like, that's cool and I want that. So, DICE has to put kind of a bigger carrot on a stick.
But I would say that DICE kind of gets where you're coming from, because look, I mean, progressively saying they've already made all these skins when the game first came out, right? All the original skins. But in the French DLC, I think they made it after the fact, right? So I guess they heard and they're getting better, because I think that's a trend to see that they're getting better with their custom skin design.
Oh. And certainly they've done that too with some of the other custom skins, like the care package skin and the Houtier skin. The Houtier skin is a cool looking skin.
Yep.
So and that was post-launch too. So.
All right, guys. So let's go straight to our last topic of the day. I think we had a great discussion on what kind of social space that Battlefield should focus on adding in their games, their future games. It can help their new, maybe hopefully they'll go with non-premium DLC kind of thing, and this kind of social space can help promote for them to find the different revenue streams to keep us, the Battlefield gamers, entertained and keep giving us content, right? That's what's important. So that's what we're talking about. The next topic, Flakfire chose to say breaking up DLC. What? 4 maps now, 2 maps later. What? So let's talk about how would you restructure DLC for future BF games?
And I'd look at it here. I'm like, I know I'm not the only one. Like a large portion of the community is like, why do we have to wait 6 months for an expansion pass? Like so many people leave the game at that point and are unlikely to come back. Like I know they've done studies on this. Like I wrote my master's thesis on DLC and actually got to talk to some developers, and they're like, we have this golden window. You want to start getting DLC out within 3 months, basically, of when the game releases. And DICE just kind of didn't do that. And I don't know why. But personally, looking at this whole thing, if I were to structure stuff, I really like the idea of what they're kind of doing now, which is like there's new content every month. Whether that's 1 or 2 maps a month, at least you've got something to look forward to, and you're like, okay, something new is coming out. It gives you a reason to return back to the game if you left it in the first place, right? So certainly there's some people who probably bought the French DLC, and they kind of ran through those 4 maps, and they're like, all right, well, now it's kind of worn off for me. And now they're adding in, they just added Nivelle Knights, and now we've got Priest of Tahure coming up soon. So they've got another reason to pick up the game and try and play some more. And I like it that way. We got people saying premium is completely fine. I completely disagree. Because of the issue that we're experiencing, which is it's breaking up the community. So you've got people who buy premium, like me. I did this for Hardline, and there are maps in Hardline's premium structure that I have never played because nobody was around to play them. Like, you could not find places to play those maps, and it sucked. And it made me really consider, hey, do I want to buy premium again? So, the purpose of this question isn't really to debate, should we do premium? It's what do you want it to look like here in the future with the maps system. And I'd like to see something new every month.
Right, to kind of jump in on that, I mean, Sharpshooter, was it Sharpshooter? No, it's Schools Pro in the chat says he just, with the whole premium is completely fine thing, is the trend, what we're trying to talk about is the trend throughout these Battlefield games has shown that premium is actually a bad thing for the franchise. As Flakfire said, it's not just Hardline. You can look at a lot of games who have that issue that are DICE developed, EA published, with this premium paywall or service.
Part of the issue too is not only that it divides the community, but they've waited so long to release the content that the player base is dwindled. Even those who bought premium in the first place. I mean, I didn't end up playing almost any of the DLCs for Hardline because they waited so long to publish them. I had moved on to other games. So I think premium wouldn't be as bad as it's turned out to be if they had, released DLC content like clockwork every couple of months. Boom, here's your next DLC pack, instead of going, all right, 6 months, we think we're going to release the DLC soon. That doesn't work.
I'm glad you said that. I'm glad you said that, Izzy, because I fell into the same category as you did. I had premium for Hardline, and I didn't play the game. I mean, like, I didn't even play those extra maps. And when I go back to playing Hardline, just randomly, because I'm like, yo, let's play Hardline. I play the vanilla maps. Never played a lot of that content.
Neither did I. I played like 1 or 2 rounds in the DLC maps ever. That's it.
Yeah.
Which is a shame, because I think a lot of them were pretty fun.
Yeah, and a lot of them were, and nobody got to play them because there was never any servers hosting them or anything like that. So, I really don't want to see the same thing happen with Battlefield 1, and it looks like, they are making some changes here. We got premium trials coming up. Premium Friends is active until Gamescom. So, awesome. I think a big reason, people are in the chat like premium is fine. And it's like, that's because right now it seems fine because we've got a lot of people who are playing with friends, who are able to play some of those maps and help populate the servers.
I don't see a lot of people playing with friends. Because, when you see playing with friends, you see them, their score is 0, even though they have like 5 KD or whatever they're doing, kills and deaths. I don't see a lot of people using premium friends.
It's still nice to have it there as an option, though.
It is awesome that it's an option.
I can say.
That's a step in the right direction. But do you guys legitimately see a difference, people playing that? I don't. I seen like
I did right when it was
guys.
released.
Okay, I saw more when it was released. But nowadays I see like once in a blue moon. I'll look at the scoreboard, I'm like, oh look, there's someone not getting any points. Right, he's a friend. I don't know.
And it brings down the squad. The squad can't get ace gameplay either if they're sharing a premium friend.
Wow, that's a fact. Because he's not getting points.
Yep. I didn't get ace squad for about 4 games straight when I offered premium friends to somebody on Nivelle Knights. And I was like, why are we not getting freaking ace squad? We're at the top. Oh, so-and-so's at the very bottom. Great. Yeah.
Good job for being a good person, Mambo.
I always take one for the team.
Have you guys heard about this brand new thing that DICE is launching called Premium Trials?
Yeah, Flak just mentioned it.
Yeah.
And it's
So
How
something
long is it gonna
we still
last?
don't we still don't know any of that yet. I'm hoping.
Right.
but it's just gonna be straight up. You don't need a friend, right?
Right.
Yes, that's my understanding. I mean, I would assume otherwise. Why else would they call it premium trials? It's not like premium friends with a trial.
Oh,
Um,
they could take your credit card now and charge you later unless you cancel.
As seen on TV.
Yeah, I see that.
Pay
too.
now,
A
but
little
not
bit
have
of
to worry about
shipping
the
and
charge for
handling.
30 days.
I don't think that's gonna happen. I think you guys are right. I mean, it's pretty much you can speculate and say safe to say that they're gonna just let you play the game for those 2 months, play any of the maps, and later on you're gonna not be able to play them if you don't pay, right? So now, like when talking about restructuring the whole DLC thing, I mean, how does that fit in? I mean, we know that Dice is probably gonna want to. Well, I'm hopeful that they're gonna see that having premium, having this, is not good for the community. The paid content behind wall. But let's talk about a scenario where they come up to a table and EA exec and all these people, they see the numbers. We don't see these sale numbers. We don't see these sales figures. We don't know how much it costs to produce, publish, all that stuff for us to play this extra DLC content. So maybe it's not feasible. Maybe they're looking at it and this is not gonna make us money. So ultimately they're not gonna be in it to not make money. So I wanna just throw in a hypothetical on the next Battlefield game will still have paid DLC, but I would like to see it a little bit different. I was thinking about, let's not call it DLC, because when you call something DLC and you charge someone, they expect X amount of content. What I think they should do instead is do like something like Rainbow Six Siege does and call it a season pass. And easily they could have done that because, like you said, they broke up the French DLC because they first said it was a DLC, and then they realized they want to add more content, to the whole DLC pack. So they're adding 2 more maps, and I think they added some more little stuff. Did they, other than maps, add anything else? No guns, right?
Mm-mm.
Not to the French DLC. They could have easily called it like a French season, and you pay your $15, you get in the French season. And then if you want the next one, you pay your $15 for the Russian season. And then we'll still have premium, which gives you all season access. I don't know. I guess it just allows DICE to kind of take that.
It gives them more
content.
options.
Right. And they can slowly put out more content over time.
Which I think is a
could
better
be-
model,
Is a better
just in
model.
general, because then people don't get bored. If you have something to look forward to, then it's going to keep players around. It's going to keep the hype alive. It's going to give creators stuff to talk about. It's going to give people something to look forward to when they play. Because, at the current moment in Battlefield 1, once you're the max rank and you have all the weapons, it's like, now what? There's no new content coming out. I have nothing to work for. What am I supposed to do? So if
Right.
every couple of weeks there was, something new, it would keep people interested.
Yeah, that's one of the things. Being that I'll admit I'm a little obsessed about Battlefield more than somebody else. I play it way more than most people do, but I find, I don't know, the whole silliness of it entertaining. And I know that I might not be the person to best ask this question, but like I see that people do get bored of the Battlefield because they're like, there's just not enough new content. Even though I don't get bored, which is weird, but I know that people do. So
Right. We have a whole
I did.
social community behind us, and that helps keep the game fresh when you have different players you're playing with all the time. And I don't know how many times that people came into the chats and say, "Wow, watching you play makes me want to fire up Battlefield 1 again." What do you mean again? Well, I didn't ever have anybody to play with, so I stopped playing. Whoa. Well, that's what the streams are for, And,
yeah, you're probably right. I mean, the fact that we both stream Battlefield daily, it's probably why we keep playing, because there's always someone to play with. And
Right.
so many of my friends jump in, and like today I'm playing with you, and another guy, he's, I don't know, doing something else, but maybe tomorrow he'll play with me. And it's like I'm always playing with different people. I'm always playing it. It doesn't
Keeps it
seem
fresh.
boring. it is fresh enough for me. But
Right.
to the actual regular guy, it probably, I can see where they're coming from.
Yeah. You have a certain group of people you play with on Battlefield, Flak?
Honestly, no, because I have to jump in and record things like randomly. I'm gonna
Come to
strangle
Twitch,
my
Flak.
cat.
Come to Twitch. Come on. We need
I
you.
it's something that I do want to do, and it's something that, well, if I could, I mean, I have friends who play Battlefield, but they play other games, and if I wanted to go record something, well, they don't have premium. Premium friends will at least allow me to play with them, but it's still something that it's still something that I would like to see more content on a regular basis. And I want to get back to the root of the discussion in that regard. I like the way Rainbow Six Siege does it, where they got little seasons. I'd really like to see something with Battlefield where it's like, okay, we get a new map every month, or we get something else new every month. Find out a way. I mean, these are people with unlimited monetary resources, basically. Certainly, they can come up with a system that works in a way that keeps the community together and can still be profitable.
I think they're stuck with the whole, they named it a DLC, and I think there's a certain level of expectation when you buy a DLC. You're buying content, you know what I mean? They should have called it a pass, or Russian pass, season pass, because then there's this whole other mentality about it, like, oh yeah, I bought the pass because we're gonna get content about it, versus DLC. I don't know. I think that's what it is.
Well,
that's what they're afraid of.
And there's plenty of things that they can put into DLC that still make some kind of pass interesting, just not the maps. Like, that's what it comes down to for me. So if they put it into a system where it's like a new map every month, or 2 new maps every month, or every other month, or something like that, just where you have a regular stream of content to keep people engaged with the game and playing it, keep your servers populated, that would be for the best, I think. And there's still nothing that says, well, if you want to do DLC guns, certainly those can be part of this season pass system where you can pay for those, or additional things for skins, so you can look a bit cooler in game. Like, there are plenty of ways that a developer like DICE can incentivize people to purchase the DLC. And there are people in the chat that are like, if you can't afford $50 a month, you shouldn't play video games. Like, I really don't like that that attitude on it, because
there's a lot of people who just can't.
Well, and that aside, it's like they should come up with something better. Like, there are better systems out there. There are better ways of doing things. Make it happen.
Right. Now, their argument as a developer will say, well, we got to go through authorization and certification on our other platforms besides Steam. The consoles are a little more stringent. Well, why don't you have your DLC of 4 maps ready to go? When people download the patch, it automatically downloads all the maps, except you unlock them as a developer every month, so you don't have to go through the certification every month. You get 1 map a month and 1 new weapon to unlock every 2 weeks, something like that.
And the thing is, like, they're already doing this. Like, anytime they roll out a patch, that patch includes, in this case, prior patch, we had the Nouvelle Knights patch, right? So it rolled out the bug fixes and the map.
I think what you're saying, this is one of the practices that when DLC was first a thing, right? I think it was like Xbox that introduced the downloadable content, the original Xbox, and there was like a big outcry about, like, they literally had on CD the game itself. I forgot what game it was, and then they had the content. It was already shipped on the CD, but you had to pay extra to get it, and they called it downloadable content, and it rubbed people the wrong way, man. And I think that, like, logistically speaking, it makes sense, Mambo. But I think when people data mine this DLC patch, they'll be like, whoa, it's just 1 map, but why is it 20 gigs, And then they'll be like, haha, there must be the other maps there, and why don't you just unlock it for us? Why we gotta wait, And it'll be like an uproar about that. I'm
saying, and hypothetically, if the maps were not charged, and season pass.
Yeah, but
those
even then,
come
people
regardless. I'm saying
right.
you could unlock those every month, one a month. You don't have to pay for the maps in that scenario that we're talking about. But at least once a month, unlock a new map. That way they don't have to go through the certification. If that's their argument to us gamers.
Oh, if
hey,
that's their argument,
we can't
I
do that
guess.
because we got to spend money for certification. Okay, spend the certification for 4 maps, but only unlock them once a month. One a month.
My problem with that is also like Flakfire said, they have almost unlimited resources. We're talking about EA here. You know, like they have money. You know, it's I don't like that whole argument of that. I still fail to see how even if they did that and had to spend money on certifications, I still think that they'd be profitable on this franchise. You know what I mean? They just might not be as profitable as they like, but I still feel like Battlefield's profitable for them.
Right.
Oh, it's definitely profitable. Like, for sure.
All right,
Well,
awesome.
I was just going to mention, like,
closing thoughts on this, so we can move on to our next part. Before you do your closing thoughts, Flack or Izzy and Mambo, let me just remind everybody who's watching live right now, we will be doing a listener email section and then live questions from the audience. If you have a question that we did not answer, just focus on it. In a minute, we will be answering live questions. That's the usual thing we do with this little part that we chat with the audience.
Okay.
So just prepare your questions. We will have an @the crew if you want to ask all of us, or @any of our names here on screen that you can ask specifically. So, Flag, closing question on the breaking up DLC thing.
the only thing I was going to say was that, you know, they've already got something built into the game with battle packs. You know, I mean, I think, as he's talking about, certainly Battlefield is making money in terms of premium and DLC, but there's also battle packs that are there. And I think if they made that a more attractive option, that would probably do better for them than running the typical premium route of breaking up the maps. All I can say is I hope something like that maybe appears in the next one. Because I'm sure they're not going to kind of change their system for the remainder of Battlefield 1's life there. But
yeah, no, we're definitely stuck with it for Battlefield 1. But the fact they've changed it up so dramatically in Star Wars Battlefront means there's hope for the next Battlefield game.
True.
Well, and
they're looking around.
Battlefront 2 will definitely be kind of a testing ground,
Right.
For whatever the next Battlefield.
A lot of features we saw in the first Star Wars Battlefront made it into Battlefield 1.
Yeah, they've been testing.
Plus, I think they tested
Titanfall.
Titanfall, exactly. Yeah, they tested some stuff with Titanfall. Just out of curiosity, because I'm curious about this. Any of you guys bought battle packs with real money? I have not.
I bought the Monster Energy drinks and took the
code.
Yeah,
I got a bunch of those. Does that count?
I did that too.
You know, I mean, that was...
I don't even drink energy drinks. They're still over there.
I work at a college, so I just left them out, and within a day, they were all gone.
Really nice of you.
I want a Flakfire Battle Pack revision.
There's no bayonet skins in the game, so it won't happen.
Yeah, right. No melee skin and no melee puzzle pieces. What would you have in your Battle Pack revision, Izzy?
Me?
Yeah.
All the shiny chrome looking camos.
Yeah, I said the same thing.
Yeah. Those are the only ones people want.
I would have the ones I'm missing personally.
4 puzzle pieces.
He's to the point and practical. He's like, I want all these, so these are in mine. If it were me, they would all be the skins with the real kind of historical backgrounds that are kind of cool. Like you look at them, you're like, oh, what's that mean? And you know, you could go Wikipedia that and find out.
All right.
Yeah, I'm just gonna go straight up shiny.
Awesome.
I want the shiny ones.
If you guys didn't know and you're confused what we're talking about, is the most 2 recent, right? It's 2 of them, right? Yeah, they had the Jack Frags and they had the Westie. 2 recent battle pack revisions were, I guess, in honor of YouTubers that are in the community for Battlefield. So we don't know who the next ones are gonna be.
Stone Mountain and then Lyso Sarah are the next 2, and they apparently get to choose what's in them. So that's kind of neat.
So that's really cool. That's what we were kind of commenting on. We are going to now move on to the next section of this podcast. Thank you guys for sticking through with us all the way through our conversation. Of course, the way this podcast works is, first of all, for the first hour, we pick 4 topics. We discuss them. We think they're important to us, and we want to bring up a good conversation, trying to make sure that it's something that's constructive and positive to bring to Dice's attention if they're watching, bring to the community's attention. So we have a good discussion about it. Now, what we're going to do is quickly, we're going to do listener mail. We have a few emails, 2 of them. I'm not going to read off the third one. Someone just emailed us today. You're going to have to wait till next time. And then we're going to go to the listener section. For those of you guys who are watching or listening to the recording, make sure you rate us on iTunes. It would be pretty awesome. Say hello if you're watching on YouTube down in the comments below on Flak's channel and all that good stuff. We try to get in there, answer any questions, bring up any points, and you guys do inspire us to have better conversations here on this Let's Talk Battlefield podcast. So let's get into the emails. And for those of you guys who don't know, the email is the Let's Talk podcast@gmail.com. And the first question is from Scott Sungale. And he writes, this question is for Flak. You're on the spot, buddy. Flakfire, as an Xbox player, do you think DICE will give us the option of choosing a higher frame rate over higher graphics with the new Xbox One X? This would be a great incentive for people that don't have a 4K TV. I think that there are some games that let you do this with the PS4 Pro, so I'm sure it's possible. Playing Conquest with 60 FPS and no pop-ins would be a buy for me this fall. Thank you. His name is Aimless7. P.S. Are you going to get an Xbox One X?
I am undecided on Xbox One X. On the same thing with, in terms of giving us that choice. Like, I'm all for choice. If they give us the ability to decide that would certainly be cool. At the same point, it's like, I'm not a computer programmer. I don't know how to write code, all this other stuff. I would assume that it's probably not as easy as we would think it is. In terms of like, oh yeah, you can just push the button and
you flip a switch,
and there
man.
it is. Yeah. I think it probably doesn't work that way, and I think it'll come down to, if it's going to take a lot of extra work to do it, then we probably won't have that option. At the same point, it would be nice not to be, artificially capped at something it's totally capable of doing just because they didn't want to do, a little bit of extra work to make it happen. I don't know where we're at with, PS4, if they let you do that with the Pro or anything like that.
I think the Pro could do more frames per second if it was doing at 1080p. But the problem is they don't want an unfair advantage. So they said no to that.
That's probably something that you're also going to see on the part of Microsoft. I think you'll see that kind of stuff where it's like, no, we could do that, but we won't in the interest of fairness. And this fairness just also happens to save us some money with development in terms of doing something like that.
I think it has to do more with the developers versus like the consoles. Because some developers on the Xbox and PlayStation have said, yeah, we're going to make, the best possible game we can for the Pro versions. And if we have to scale it back for the regular versions, fine. We're not going to cap it.
Yeah, but even on the other end, right? So Battlefield 1 has a PS4 Pro version, I want to say. They never really came in and said what exactly they made better, but you can play PS4 Pro in 4K. And I know, Mambo, you do, and you say it is an advantage. You see people before, because before they were just one little pixel, now they're like 4, so you see them clear. So why do they not have an issue with that being an advantage, but they have the issue with the other thing being an advantage? It's kind of weird.
Well, I've noticed a noticeably higher frame rate on the PS4 Pro when it comes to Battlefield 1 versus the standard.
It is
there
higher.
Is a definite difference.
Yes, it is steadier. Where the original PlayStation 4, keep in mind that the PlayStation 4 base model is more powerful than the Xbox One base model. The Xbox One S is a little bit more up to par. Now, that being said, I remember playing on a PS4 and the frames would drop here and there. Going to the Pro, everything just felt smoother. but
Yeah.
they're not going over 60.
No, it's probably hitting more around 45 or 50.
Yeah. So that being said, Scott, I think you got an interesting thing going on there. I probably for the single player we might do these unlocks and cool beneficial stuff, but that'd be interesting because honest to God, if they come out and they say Xbox One X is just gonna run the heck out of Battlefield 1, I might start playing that Xbox One X. Maybe I'll even get one, you know? Cool. I think we have another question. This is a topic suggestion, so we're gonna probably get to that next time. Scott sent us 2 emails, so that was our only email for the week. Thank you, Scott, for emailing us, and now we're gonna open up the segment to you guys watching live on Twitch.tv. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed the conversation. And what did you want to ask us? What do you think that we missed on during this conversation? We do have quite a bit of time to just hang out with you guys in the chat right now. So remember, if you want to give us a question, at Flak, at Echo Limits, at MamboMe, at Izzy, we're all in the chat right now, or at Crew if you have a question to all of us. Do we have a question, Flak?
Yeah, Almighty Ben, kind of right at the very start of when we started doing this, said, at Crew, how about premium, or how about no premium, but increased price tag for the game from $60 to $80-ish, all post-launch content included? And I said, no.
No, never.
For the main reason of, you know, if you're going to develop video games, you don't want to be the first one to say, oh yeah, this game is now going to cost $80 with all the, you know, with all the stuff. Like, this is our new baseline for things. Like, that's pretty expensive there in that regard. And I think when it comes to developing post-launch stuff, the key to anything, because if you ask somebody for $80 up front, there are people who are immediately going to react just like how they do with premium. They're going to be like, you guys are nothing but greedy, money-grubbing, you know, words that I can't say on Echo's clean stream.
Corporations.
But it's something. It's like if you want to develop kind of goodwill with the people who are playing your game, and the hilarious bit is that there will be people out there who do this, and they will spend more than the cost of premium, but it's fine with them because they felt like it was a choice. So if you have $60, you have all these other options out there that it's like, oh, if you want to actually, you know,
right, and I think
unlock a little bit more stuff, but you feel like it's a choice. You don't feel like it's forced. That's the key, like that's the golden thing.
Oh, definitely. Microtransactions make games way more money than season passes ever have.
Yeah,
Like, look at CS:GO. How many knives do they trade in CS:GO?
Black Ops 3, I think, is the prime example. They're still releasing DLC content for that game. They just had a new drop of like 4 guns 2 days ago. They've made billions of dollars off of those supply drops, which is way more than they've made off of their season pass for the game.
They probably made a lot, but I don't know, billions.
No,
probably not.
No,
you think
billions.
So?
They did actually release some figures for that, and it was, from my point of view, it was terrifying how much money they made off of those microtransactions.
I mean,
but again, the key is that it doesn't feel like it's forced, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And those same people who will complain about premium, who will complain about a higher price tag, are like, microtransactions, okay.
Well,
you know,
I was
like,
adding up like,
dude,
how
it's the
much money
weirdest.
I spent.
It is a weird
If they
phenomenon.
give us free maps from now on in Battlefield, but they said, oh, by the way, we've got 4 new guns and 4 new knives that are coming out, but you could get 8 new guns and 8 new knives. If you bought the other 4, I'd buy them right away.
You know what? I mean, I want to go full circle on that whole discussion for the whole $80 upfront, is because you got to realize the $60 thing is a game standard right now, right? $60, like, this is your brand new title. And what you're going to see is if you start charging $80, you're going to be compared to other games to see how much value you have in your own game. I always think about this whole value thing aspect, is because you may think that you want to add value to it and charge more, but there will be games that are charging less. They'll be doing 60 and they'll have just as much value or more than you. And then it's kind of like looking at you. You look like what are you doing, dude? Like, there's a game here.
Well, and that's exactly how I feel about the next Call of Duty coming out. Like, because supposedly they're still having their season pass thing,
Yeah,
and
they'll
you
never
can
get rid of that.
you can bet that they're going to have those supply drops in there. And it's like,
Yeah.
I look at that, I look at Battlefield, I'm like, which one seems really ridiculously greedy and not player centric? And the quick answer is Call of Duty, because you look at it and you're just like, not only are they making, as Izzy said, I mean, they're making a ton of money off supply drops, but they're also screwing you with the season pass stuff too. And it's like, I like pick one, one, and I will like your company. Like, that's fine. But
They do both. They just
ludicrous.
double dip on everything, and even
No, my number was a little off. They actually made 3.6 billion.
That's insane.
Think about that. So it's and
no
and
wonder they don't care that
is
Infinite
in
Warfare
addition
didn't sell.
Yeah,
That
they
is
don't care.
in-
Complain all you
cares?
want, kiddies.
We're
Complain
good
all
for
you
like
want,
the
kiddies.
next
I just
20
took
years of Call of
3.6
Duty.
bill.
That basically tells me they have $3.6 billion in their pockets. They are set for the next 20 years, even if the next Call of Duties all suck and they all have a boost jumping and they all have this nonsense.
Yep.
It's ridiculous.
But this is not a Call of Duty podcast.
No, but
Thank you.
but
Thank you
what
for bringing
that
us full
goes to
circle,
show
Mambo.
is that system works and it generates money.
Yeah.
And what is he saying here? And this is always my answer to any time somebody's like, people can pay $50 for premium. You know, I just look at it, I'm like, are you telling me that, you know, Activision could not afford to give out the maps for free if they made, what, $3.4 billion on supply drops? Like, get out of here.
We got another question. Paradox Edge says, how about buying premium one time and not having to buy it again next year? That's how it works, dude. You don't buy premium again.
Yeah, but
It's just
once they got your
one-time
money,
game, that's
they
it.
don't have anything to work for. The
But
thing
next
about
game, you have to buy premium again.
right, the thing that given the money on a random basis, like whenever they develop something, they have to work in order to get that money. So when they have your money up front, then they feel they don't need to work because they've already got your premium money. But if you make them have to make something in order to get your money, then they work more on their game. I think the microtransactions is better for the game because they work on their game to get more money. Period.
Yeah.
My feel on it.
We have another question for the crew. Hold on. It was a good one. Gons73 asked, crew, did DICE lose its magic? I don't think so. The magic is still there.
Yeah,
It's just a little rusty.
you know, I look at it, I say the magic is still there. It's, you know, being constrained a little bit by corporate is how I feel about it. You know, I think there are people there with, you know, great ideas. And certainly, like, we're talking about all this stuff. Like, and if we're sitting here thinking that people at DICE really want to, you know, have premium, who really want to divide the community with maps, you know, like there's some kind of evil genius sitting in a revolving chair. Like, I don't think they're like that.
Not at all. Not at all.
I don't think
I
they
just-
are even a little bit.
I just think
Yeah.
that they have not advanced their ideas yet. You know what I mean? They're stuck on the old system of how do you make money post-launch game. Oh, DLC. This is what we were in. But now
Yeah.
the gaming world has evolved and DICE hasn't caught up. DICE is
I
still
do
stuck on
love
that old
DICE,
model.
but they're always slow to adapt. I mean, they'll catch on eventually, but they're slow to adopt stuff like that,
You
which
know,
is a
and
shame.
I mean-
I was saying back before Battlefield was announced, you know, before Battlefield was announced or before it was released, that, you know, if they had gone with a system that was not premium oriented, I mean, they would have absolutely murdered the last Call of Duty.
Oh, for sure.
And I still, to this day, I cannot believe that they didn't do that. At the same point, I don't necessarily think it was, you know, DICE's decision to do that, but it's something that it's like, all right, well, now you've got that opportunity yet again, because somehow Activision is even slower in that regard, you know, where they're going to do the same premium season pass type of thing, and they're still going to have supply drops. Like,
well, I gotta
another golden opportunity is still there. Make it happen with the next one.
I gotta just tell Telkster in the chat, like, we hear you, man. So we're having these discussions. He just keeps pasting it over and over. We have another question. What do you think the next Battlefield game will be like? We've answered that question so many times. but it is a quick one. We'll answer it. I hope something future.
I can
future-esque.
confirm it's going to be a video game.
What about the TV series? I thought
I mean,
You can't play it.
he did say game. I mean,
It's
it's not going to be a
can
board
Can
game.
the TV series be interactive?
board game.
Like you press A to see what happens if he opens the door or he doesn't.
Ooh, it's like Battlefield Telltale, the
Yeah.
Telltale series.
I'd actually
Telltale
play
series.
that.
Dude,
That
I
might
would
be
too.
kinda
I'm not
I'd
cool.
play that.
It's commander mode for actors and actresses in Battlefield. You tell them what to do by pressing buttons.
Live action Battlefield.
Yeah.
Yes. Pick up the gun.
Reload,
press
you
A.
idiot.
Press A
Bunny
to
hop.
pay
Bunny
respects.
hop. Spin in a circle.
Press X to counter knife.
360 no scope for the win.
Oh man. All right, guys. I think that about wraps it up. Thank you for chatting with us. Always a fun time to see what you guys are up to in this conversation. We're gonna end this one on time because we've been going over on these podcasts way more than we should have. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed it. Episode 14 has just wrapped up. With that, we're gonna go give you guys our final sign-offs. Izzy, hit him with the sign-off. Where can they find you?
Guys, it's been awesome. Thanks for hanging out in the chat. If you want to check out my channel, it's youtube.com/IzzyGoneCrazy. Catch you in the next one.
Awesome. Mambo?
Hi, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Hope you've enjoyed today's podcast. If you want to check out myself, Mambo B on Twitch TV for games, laughs, and memories.
And Flak, hit him with the sign-offs.
All right. If you guys want to check me out on YouTube, it's youtube.com/Flakfire. Also on Twitter, always post rather fun, interesting dank memes and other things on there. So you can check that out. That's twitter.com/FlakFireGaming. Yeah, this is a fun podcast. Normally I'm pretty like relaxed, and today I'm like
Spicy.
ornery. I don't know.
These are
Spicy,
good conversations. I mean, I don't want to overstep the boundaries. We should definitely close it off. I'll give you guys my sign-offs. My name is Eric. I go by Echo Limits on twitch.tv/Echo Limits, EKOLIMITS. You can find me also on Twitter under the same username. Thank you all for watching, and thank you for those kind words, Pomegranate in the chat. And we have Scoops Pro just saying thank you guys, and it means a lot to me that you guys enjoy these podcasts. To have so many people come in and watch them and be a part of the discussion is really, really, truly humbling. And I know we can make this community better, one podcast at a time. So we'll see you guys in 2 weeks' time, all right? Peace out.